Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm so excited for today's workshop. Tell me in the chat, where are you tuning in from today? I always love meeting new people from all over the world. So tell me in the chat, where are you tuning in from today? I'm going to get my slides ready and I'm going to share my screen. So, in today's workshop, we are going to talk about how to build a profitable coaching business. And I'm going to show you my profitable coaching business framework. Now, I have always said that business and sales isn't personal, it is mathematical. And in today's workshop, I'm going to show you why. Now, my background is in computer science. My BSc is in computer science, and then I did a master's in business information technology. And since running my business, I have been so intentional about helping my clients be able to see their business as a mathematical formula. Because if you can put your business on paper as a mathematical formula, then you can predict your sales every single month. That way, business is no longer throwing spaghetti at the wall. It becomes a lot more fun when you have certainty. That's what I'm going to teach you here today. Now, before we get started, I want you to have a notebook ready. Or if you have a note app on your phone, get ready to take notes on your phone. You can also take screenshots of some of the information I'm going to be sharing with you today. Also, you're going to have questions as I go. So drop your questions as they come out. Drop your questions in the chat. If your questions are so pressing, feel free to unmute yourself and ask your questions. Intermittently, during the presentation, I'm going to be keeping an eye on the chat and I'm going to be answering your questions as we go. At the end, I'm going to share how you can work with me for those of you who want to work further with me. But I have designed this workshop to be independent on its own. In fact, I'm so proud of the fact that many people have consumed my free content and have used that free content to grow their businesses. So I can promise you that what you learn in this workshop, it will be actionable, is something you can apply in your business right away. So what are you going to learn here today? I'm going to teach you how to book one-on-one clients without cold DMs. Okay. If you're like me, you may not enjoy cold DMs. Now, if cold DMs is your thing, then hats off to you and more power to you. Now, I say book one-on-one clients, but this depends heavily on your current business model. So if you have a group coaching program, then I'm going to teach you how to fill your group coaching program without cold DMing people. I'm also going to teach you how to attract clients without social media. And the strategy I'm going to teach you is updated for 2026. So, yes, it is entirely possible to grow a thriving business without being glued to your phone, Instagram, or any of the other social media apps. I'm also going to teach you how to generate spontaneous client inquiries. Yeah, this is one of the ways I have grown my business so fast because I have implemented strategies that gets people like inbound requests from people requesting to work with me. And this is what I'm going to teach you how to do for yourself today. I'm going to help you identify what's missing in your business. If you're not closing the number of sales you want to close every single month, I'm going to show you what's missing. I'm going to teach you how to fix it. I'm also going to tell you the 3 key offers every successful coaching business needs to be profitable, to be sustainable. Okay, because as business owners, we want to be able to predict our income. We don't want feast and famine, right? And then lastly, I'm going to show you my signature profitable coaching business framework. This is the framework I use that is helping me grow a sustainable, joyful, and profitable business. Yes, I do my business full time. And many of the people in my network are always asking me, how am I able to show up so refreshed every single time and still show up like I'm everywhere at the same time? That's because I have a system, I have a framework. And that framework allows me to be profitable in a joyful way without burnout and without looking stressed. And I'm going to show you that here today. Is this you right now? Does any of this sound familiar? Maybe you dread social media. You don't want to do social media, but you feel like there's no choice for you. And you are just showing up, sometimes not consistently, and you're afraid that no one is reaching out. Like you're posting and no one is reaching out, and you dress social media. Or maybe you're spending time on Canva, faffing around on Canva, spending time designing graphics and posts that nobody sees or likes, and it is slowly destroying your soul. Maybe you feel totally overwhelmed. The idea of starting or building a profitable coaching business overwhelms you when you think of the text setup. You think of everything you need to set up your business and you just feel overwhelmed. Maybe you feel like you're shouting in the void. You post online and nobody responds. Maybe you get like 5 likes, 10 likes, and no client inquiries. Or maybe you have imposter syndrome and fear. You compare yourself with other people, you have self doubt, and you have this nagging feeling that there is already too many coaches out there. Or maybe you have no clear direction. You're just throwing spaghetti at the wall, you're struggling with consistency, and you're genuinely unsure whether what you're doing is going to work. If any of this sounds familiar, I want to tell you, you are in the right place today and you're not alone. Question for you. Tell me in the chat, what's stopping you? What do you think is getting in the way of you building a profitable and successful coaching business? If you're not making the amount of money you want to make every single month, tell me in the chat what's stopping you. What's getting in the way? If I knew, I'll change it. Oh, that's such a good answer. Not knowing where to start, Barbara. Okay. I haven't provided a call to action intentionally yet. I need to clean up a few things on the back end. Yes. Okay. I love your response, and William, and I'm gonna hopefully at the end of this workshop, you will know exactly why you're not signing the number of clients you want to sign, and you will know how to fix it. That's my promise to you for this workshop. Natalie says, being a full-time college student and working. Okay, okay, all right. So that's getting in your way. Okay. It's very good for us to know exactly what's getting in the way. All right. Most coaches believe that they don't have enough followers, or they have the wrong niche, or they say it's bad timing. But the reality is, sustainable client attraction requires a complete system of things working together. So in this workshop, I'm going to show you a complete system. And William, you're going to see, oh, this is what I'm missing, and you're going to know how to fix it. Okay. So the first step is the foundation. So this is the base of everything. And I have seen that for a successful coaching business, there needs to be three foundational pillars. The first one, and I believe this is the most important, is for you to define your own version of success. Okay, so the first foundation is for you to define your version of success. And so I want you to tell me in the chat, what's your version of success? How much money would you like to make in your coaching business, in your view, that you will see that success? Because that's very important. Success for one person will be completely different from what another person defines as success. So, do you know what your version of success is for your coaching business? Do you know how much you want to make per month in your coaching business? So taking how much you want to make per month, taking that dollar amount, I want you to now think about your offer. How much is your base offer? How much is your base offer for someone to work with you? How much is it? Tell me in the chat. It depends on the tier. Okay. So give me like the most popular tier. Like which tier does, okay, Season is a ranges between 7K and 100K. Yes. So on average, Season, what would you say per client? Yeah, you have three services. Yeah. So think about your most popular offer. Which one do people go for the most, and how much is that? 7K. Awesome. Yeah. For 500 per month. Awesome. Per person. Okay. So thinking about that dollar amount and thinking about how much you want to make per month, I want you to tell me how many clients you need to reach your goal. How many clients do you need per month, every single month, to reach your income goal? Max 10. And for William, tell me, is he one-on-one or a group program? Are you serving those 10 people per month on a one-on-one basis? One-on-one. Okay. So one-on-one, have you looked at your time commitment and make sure that it sits well with your goals, right? I love how you're all being very specific. Susan says, mine is annually to 3 years. Awesome. So now your version of success is unique to you, right? So I remember the first time I had 5 clients all at once for the first time in my coaching business. I was almost overwhelmed because it's not just the hour of coaching. I coach my clients. It is that there are other things I need to do to support my clients outside of the 1 hour. Okay, so I want you to be very clear about your goals and how you're going to reach your goals. Now, when you do this math, it could be that you decide to raise your price. So if you look at your math and you're like 10 clients a month, that's going to take so much time. I need to raise my price so I can get to my goal, right? So I want you to think about your numbers and be very sure about what success means to you. So that's the first foundation. The second foundation is your home on the internet. What that means is a hub where people go to consume your content. This is where you build trust, communicate who you are, and demonstrate the results you help people achieve. So that's foundation number 2. Foundation number 3 is a strong niche, strong messaging, and then ideal clients. And I'm going to show you how all of these fit together. Now, in 2026, I believe that to have a sustainable business so that you are not in feast and famine mode all of the time, these are the 3 offers you need to have in your ecosystem. The first one is what I call a profit generating offer. Second one is an entry offer. And the third one is a trust building offer. For the entry offer, this is a low barrier offer. It could be a power hour call where you charge people for an hour intensive. It could be a small digital product. It could be a masterclass. It could be a mini course. That's your low ticket offer. Then there is the trust building offer. This is like a membership, a group program, a mini one-on-one or in-person retreat. And then your profit generating offer will be your higher end offer, like your one-on-one coaching. So as you scale, you're going to see that, oh, maybe a group program at, let's say, 5K. And then for those who want to work with me one-on-one, it will be 20K, right? So your one-on-one package will be your profit generating offer. I want to talk to you about aligned marketing. Because at the end of the day, if you want to have a hugely profitable coaching business, you need to have a system where new people find you consistently. I see so many people on Instagram or on LinkedIn posting every single day, speaking to the same audience, and their audience isn't growing. Okay, so you need to find a way, an aligned way that more people keep coming into your ecosystem. And I have found that this is I want to say the number one reason most coaches struggle is because new people aren't finding them. And the best analogy I can use for this is imagine if you were at a football event and it's halftime, everyone is going to grab something to eat. And then there is someone there who has amazing food, right? Their burger is so nice. And there's a long queue for people queuing up to buy because now everybody knows this person has amazing burger. There's another person on the side whose burger is crap. There's nobody on that queue. Now, people buy from this person whose burger is amazing, and then the burger is finished. No burgers left. But there are still thousands of people who are hungry. What do you think happens to the person whose burger is crappy? The people are going to queue up to buy from him, right? All because he's just there and there's so many people there. One sec. Ivy, what's going on? Sorry, my daughter is here. She just, something just fell off. So, this is why I say that if you get in front of new people, it doesn't matter if you're, well, obviously, as heart centered coaches, we want to have amazing offers. But I want you to understand that your offer isn't the problem. Most of the time, it is that new people aren't finding you. And there are four key ways for new people to find you. The first one is organic, right? So from your blog, your YouTube, your podcast, Pinterest, or Amazon publishing. The second way is paid. So Instagram ads, Facebook ads. The third way is collabs. So doing collaboration with other business owners who serve the same target audience as you. And number four is in real life. So doing real life speaking events, going to local networking, local press where you live. There are pros and cons for each of these. For example, the organic one is very slow, right? It's slow to build, but the beauty about the organic one is once you build it, it gives you long-term results, right? So imagine, for example, on my YouTube, when I started my YouTube about 2 years ago, I was not making any traction. It took about 6 months of consistently posting videos for me to start getting clients from YouTube. But now I'm getting spontaneous client inquiries. Now I've done all that work, published all those videos, and now those videos are now giving me clients consistently. Okay. But with paid ads, you get results immediately if you know how to run ads. However, it can become costly. Okay. So those are some of the pros and cons. Now, I recommend that you choose 1 to 3 platforms and ideally choose a search-based platform. And what I mean by search-based platform is platforms where people go to search for solutions to their problems. So, for example, William said, I help people get unstuck. Well, think about the people who are stuck. Where do they go to look for solutions to their problems? What kind of search terms did they type? And then your content will be the solutions to their problem. Okay. There are 3 mistakes I see many people make, especially coaches. They charge per hour. So it doesn't seem like we have those here based off of what you just told me, because charging per hour won't get you the results you want. Okay, so that's mistake number one. Mistake number two is coaches searching for endless certifications. And this is a way for us to procrastinate building a successful coaching business. We keep thinking, oh, I need a leadership certification. Oh, no, no. Now I need a somatic modality certification. And I see so many coaches doing certifications upon certifications without making progress in their business. I see this very lovingly because this used to be me. When I started my coaching business, over the space of 2 years, I had invested $180,000 in certifications and programs, and I had zero clients. 180K. Like I actually have a spreadsheet where I track all of the investments I had made. Just my life coaching certification from the life coach school was $21,000. Just the life coach certification. So I see many coaches going down that rabbit hole of certifications upon certifications. And number 3 is mindset blocks. I want to talk to you about the cycle of change. And this is where I see so many people get stuck because people try things and then they go through this cycle. And depending on what they get, they decide to quit. So the first level is uninformed optimism. So they start a business and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm really excited to start this coaching business. And at that point, their initial thought is, oh my gosh, this is going to be easy. I've seen all of these Instagram coaches. They are making tons and tons of money. And then the person starts and launches the business and they're like, oh, there's so much to do. This is harder than I thought. So that's level 2. It's called informed pessimism. So now they are very informed, but now they're pessimistic. The level next from there is the valley of despair. This is where they start to think, oh gosh, this coaching business thing is way more difficult than I thought. This will never work for me. And then in that valley of despair, many people quit at this point and go back and say, oh, I think I want to be a therapist. And then they go through the therapist coaching model and they come back to value number three, value of despair. They give up again and they keep going. Many people never persevere through the valley of despair to get to informed optimism and then get to success and fulfillment. So when you understand that in whatever venture you go through, this is a cycle. And those who succeed are the people who persevere through the valley of despair, take consistent income producing actions. Those are the people that get results. Now, your job is not to avoid the valley of despair. No, it's to learn how to go through it. Okay? I want you to think about the last time you invested $5,000 or more in a service, a coaching program online. What made you buy? What made you decide to invest? Why did you trust them? Tell me in the chat. Or you can unmute if you want to speak. Think about the last time you invested 5K or more.
Can I share, Joy? Would you mind?
Yes, go ahead.
So for me, it was because, and it's kind of like where I am right now. There's an area that I know I need help in, and so it is a very what I call the pain area. And so the person who provided the solution to that, it was a no-brainer. Just wanted to work with that individual, and that's kind of what happened there, and kind of how I'm talking to you. So, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
more or less the pain. There's an area that I really need to make a move in now, and that move is going to be the thing that will allow me to grow. So I got to do it
Mhm.
now. Yeah, yeah, it's the pain.
Wow. That's so powerful. So you knew you were in pain, and that person's offer was the solution to your pain. And that's how you invested in that service or program. I
Correct.
love that so much. Anybody else wants to share before I move on? What made you decide to invest in someone, a service 5K or over? How did you earn the trust? How did they earn your trust? And how did you trust them enough to invest in their service? I'll move on. I want you to tell me, how do you demonstrate to people that you can help? How do you demonstrate to people that your service can help them, your product, the thing you're selling? How do you demonstrate to people that you can help them?
Label the pain that they're going through.
Sorry?
Label the pain that it seems like or feels like they are going through.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. I provide some free information. Yes. So true. So you help them label the pain. Yes, so good. So the way I describe it, and you just said it perfectly, William, I always say describe their pain better than they can. Use words like when they hear the way you describe their pain, they're like, oh my gosh, she gets me, he gets me. Yeah, yeah, such a good answer. But I'm gonna tell you the surest way for you to demonstrate to people you can help them. Here is it. I'm gonna tell you. Is to actually help them. So you demonstrate you can help by actually helping them. And how do you do this? You do this with your publicly available content. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're trying to lose weight and you've been listening to someone's podcast or watching their YouTube channel. And just from watching their YouTube channel and listening to their podcast, you've lost 10 pounds. But let's say you have 100 pounds to lose. Like they've already demonstrated to you that they can help because just from their YouTube videos and their content, you've already lost 10 pounds. And this actually happened to me for real. So that's why I know this example. This lady's podcast, I was listening to every morning on my way to work. Then I still had a 9 to 5. And just from listening to her podcast, I was making changes in my life. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this lady just helped me from her free content. Imagine if I hired her as my coach. So that's the surest way you can demonstrate to people that you can help them, by actually helping them. Here's the skill that is missing for most coaches. It isn't more certification. It is learning the skill of running a business. And there are six key skills, which is marketing, sales, offer creation, positioning, client acquisition, and then revenue strategy. So if you only take one thing from this workshop today, I want you to start thinking, how can I improve my business skill? With the understanding that you already have what it takes. What I mean is, you don't need additional coach certification. In fact, you can be a coach without coach certification if you learn the skill of running a business. In general, there are two types of marketing. There is interruption marketing and there is invitation marketing. By interruption marketing, I mean cold DMing people, messaging strangers. That's interruption. So think about Instagram, for example. I believe social media is primarily there for people to relax, watch cat videos, dog videos, and all of those stuff. So imagine people in that mindset, and then you just cold DM them and say, "Oh, I can help you get unstuck." I'm like, okay, I'm not in the mood for being unstuck right now. I want to escape my life. I just want to binge cat videos and just doom scroll. Okay. So as you market your business, I want you to think that invitation marketing feels better, right? Depending on your personality, right? I know people who cold DM people and it feels good to them, right? But if you want to have a sustainable business, I recommend you focus more on invitation marketing, which is where you put out content and then people raise their hands to say, I'm interested. So then you go from chasing people to actually attracting people. Okay, so bear those two types of marketing in mind. I want to tell you about a marketing concept called Google's 7-11-4 rule. And this was publicized by Google. And what that rule says is that for someone to be comfortable buying from you, they need 7 hours of content, 11 different touch points on 4 different platforms. So the question I love to ask is this: where would I go to watch 7 hours of your content? If research has proven that for someone to be comfortable buying, they need to see 7 hours of content. And so when people say they're struggling in their coaching businesses, and I say, okay, where can I go to see 7 hours of your content? And they're like, I post Instagram reels. I'm like, okay, if you post 90-second reels on Instagram, it's going to take you 280 reels to get to 7 hours of content. So this is really powerful. If you want to consistently sign clients, you need to create a business structure that follows this Google 7-11-4 rule. Yes. CJ says this is powerful. YouTube. Yes. So YouTube is one of the platforms that I recommend for people to get to know you, your framework, how you think, how you get people results. And like, it's, in my experience, is the best platform for coaches right now. Okay. Your authority hub is the place, like I said at the beginning, is your home base where people go to consume your content for free. So think YouTube, think podcasts, think live workshops and webinars. So I want to introduce you to my profitable coaching business framework. And many of this, like, it might not be new to you, but seeing it like in like an ecosystem way will help you understand how people go from strangers to becoming clients. So imagine your authority hub being built, and then from your authority hub, so I'm referring to like YouTube and your podcast, you have a lead magnet where people, you channel people from It could be your social media as well. You channel people from your YouTube, your podcast, your social media into your lead magnet, and then they get on your email list. And then from your email list, you invite them to a workshop, and then you convert them into clients. Here is the framework in a more holistic way. And at the middle, I've put here an irresistible offer. This is so important because you want people to see how you get them from point A to point B. So I believe an irresistible offer is a must-have for this ecosystem to work. And you must also learn the skill of great storytelling, right? You need to be able to tell the story of how you take people from point A to point B. And you tell stories using client stories and even your own transformation. So when I say client stories, if you don't have permission to use people's full names, that's fine. You could use just their first name, but you tell an amazing story so that people can see themselves in that story. Now, I have to mention before I move forward that it mustn't be a sequential process, right? So people can find you on LinkedIn, read your post, and then download your lead magnet and then decide to work with you, right? So it doesn't have to be sequential, but I love you to see how the entire ecosystem works of how people go from strangers to becoming clients. How can you make sales predictable? And I love teaching this because, like I said at the beginning, it feels like many coaches are throwing spaghetti at the wall. If I asked you today and I said, tell me specific actions that you need to take in your business to generate $10,000. Do you know? Do you know your business formula? Do you know the set of actions you take in your business that generates a specific amount of dollars? So I love to give the example of the insurance company. It was in the 1900s. And then this insurance company, they just sent out agents to go knock on doors. And they would knock on doors, and all they would say when someone opened the door was exactly this. They would say, you aren't looking to buy insurance, are you? And then they'll wait for a response. Some people would just slam the door at them, and then they found that out of 100 doors, 30 people will say, I've actually been thinking about buying life insurance. Tell me more. And out of those 30, they would book 10 appointments. And out of those 10 appointments, 3 people would buy life insurance. And once the insurance company knew these numbers, they started to refine their processes. And they said, okay, now we know that out of 100 doors knocked, 30 conversations are had, 10 appointments are booked, and 3 sales are closed. And then they started to improve their processes. Instead of saying just, you aren't looking to buy life insurance, are you? They started refining their sales structure, how they build rapport, how they build conversations. And then their ratios started to improve. And this is why I always tell people, your first job as a business owner is to know your numbers. Know the set of actions you take in your business that get you results. Once we know those numbers, we can improve those numbers. So if you were sending cold DMs, for example, you could have your numbers and say, out of 1,000 cold DMs, I get 10 clients, for example, right? So know your numbers and know what specific actions you take in your business that gets you results. And so for me personally, I love to use workshops as my method. So when you start running workshops, you then say, out of 100 workshops I run, I get 3 clients, for example. Once we know those numbers, then we can improve the process. We can improve how you sell. We can improve your workshop titles, etc., etc. But here's the thing. Many people don't persevere long enough to find out what their numbers are. When you know your numbers, then one rejection doesn't faze you because you already know your numbers. Okay? I love to give the Tesla principle as an example when it comes to offer creation. Imagine if you were selling a brand new Tesla for $10. How would you show up to sell that? You'll be confident, excited. And if you told someone and said, give me $10 and you can drive away with this brand new Tesla, and they said, I am not interested, you would go, oh my gosh, I didn't do a great job explaining the value. Do you know the value? Right? So when it comes to offer creation, you want your offer to be a no-brainer. And Alex Hormozy says this the best. He said, an irresistible offer is an offer that the target audience will feel stupid saying no to. That's what Alex Hormozy defines an irresistible offer as. So, question to you, do you think you have an irresistible offer? If you don't, then there's room for improvement. Stop convincing people and start positioning yourself. So I'm going to use Williams's example as a coach who helps people get unstuck. So, question for you, William. Instead of trying to bug people on Instagram and LinkedIn and DMing them and trying to find a client, isn't it better that you position yourself so that people who are already stuck and looking for solutions find you? So making yourself more findable by people who are aware that they're stuck.
Absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah. So that's a lot easier than bugging people and asking them if they want to buy a coaching program to get them unstuck. So think about how can you position yourself so that people who already know they have the problem you solve find you. Okay, that's a question for you. And here's the identity shift I want you to have. Instead of saying, I hope people buy, your new identity is, I know my numbers. I know that if I host 2 workshops, I get 5 clients. Once you know your numbers, you stop being desperate. You know your numbers, and your numbers don't lie. And that's why I love math. You go from I hate selling to I love serving people. Okay, so that's some of the identity shifts I want you to start having. And you cannot half-ass a profitable business. And I love to use the example of an iceberg because what people see is your website, your emails, your ads on Facebook, your offers, your social media. But 90% of the things that make your business successful are the things that people never see. And those are the things we need to work on as coaches. For example, copywriting, your sales cycle, your tech stack, having your automation in place, your niche, your messaging, your pricing structure, all of those things are the hidden foundation of a successful business. So, what's your implementation plan? First, I want you to know your numbers. If I want you to take that from this workshop today. You need to know your numbers. You need to know the set of actions you take in your business that generate X amount of dollars. You also need to understand your positioning. You need to understand your infrastructure. So earlier I showed you the ecosystem of how people find you from strangers to becoming clients. Now I have to mention here that you can strategically use ads, right? So you could use Facebook ads to drive people to your free lead magnet, get them to your ecosystem, and then nurture that relationship. Let them get to know you, and then invite them to like a workshop or invite them to a strategy call. So you could use ads very strategically to grow your business faster. I want you to think about everything I've described, and I'm going to stop to answer some questions. But if we decide to work together, these are the 4 things we're going to work through. We're going to recalibrate your offer, make sure your offer is irresistible. we're going to build your client acquisition ecosystem. So the ecosystem I just showed you, so that you can start having spontaneous client inquiries, right? So it takes about 4 to 6 months for you to start getting those spontaneous client inquiries without you having to actively enroll clients, like doing workshops or doing challenges. And then I'm going to help you break through some mindset blocks. I know many of us think we don't have mindset blocks, but for all of the clients I have worked with, once I help them shatter the mindset blocks, they start to attract clients. And then number 4, I'm going to help you create your 7 hours of authority content so that people find you and then people want to work with you. If you wanted to work with me, there are 3 ways. So we could do a 4-hour intensive, and 4-hour intensive, or 8 weeks or 6 months. But before that, if you're just finding me for the first time, I want you to go do your research. I have a playlist on YouTube with my client testimonials. So you can go do your research, see like the kind of results I get from my clients before you decide if this is for you. So this is what I've showed you today, a sustainable system that takes away the ickiness, like the sales ickiness of cold DMing people. Social media is optional. When you have automated systems, you start to attract spontaneous inquiries. And when you have a business system, an ecosystem, then you have something that works for you long term, not just short term. And then I showed you the 3 different types of offers I recommend you have in your program. I want to tell you about one of my clients, Dr. Leah Cunningham. She's been in business for 25 plus years. She's been helping women for 25 plus years. And she's received 3 military medals for distinction and exemplary service. She started working with me in December. This is week number 15 of us working together. And this is what she said on LinkedIn. She said, since working with me, her business has been soaring, which is incredible. Another one I want to tell you about, the last one I want to tell you about, is Sandy. Sandy just joined me 5 weeks ago. And when she joined me, she said she was running workshops. And she would run workshops, offer free consultations. Some people would book the consultations, but nobody would show up. Like they weren't even polite enough to cancel 24 hours before the call. And she was so frustrated. Well, guess what? Now she has signed 3 premium clients. She had a workshop on Saturday, this past Saturday. She had 5 people attend live. One of them was me. So discount that to 4, where she didn't know I was the one because I changed my name because I didn't want her to be nervous on the workshop. So there were 4 potential leads. Of those 4, she signed 2. She signed 2, and she's over the moon. And we actually just recorded a video I posted yesterday about her experience, which is phenomenal. This is what happens when you have all of those systems in place. Okay, inspiration isn't enough. Many of us attend workshops like this, we feel inspired, and then we go back home and then we don't take any action. We don't make any changes. Well, inspiration isn't enough. You can take what you've learned here today and go implement yourself. You can say, oh, I'm going to define my numbers. I'm going to find my numbers. And then once I know my numbers, I'm going to start improving on those numbers. That's absolutely doable. But I want you to leave this workshop not just feeling inspired, but deciding to take action. Not just take action, consistent action. So I already said this. There are 3 ways I can support you. One day, so this is where I work with you for 3 to 4 hours on your chosen day. And there's the 8-week mentorship. And then there is the 6 months. So the 6 months is the one Dr. Leah is on. 8 weeks is the one Sandy is on. So depending on your goals and depending on specific things you want to work with on your business, we get to decide which one works for you. The next step is to book a coffee chat. Whether you want to just chat with me for free for 1 hour and I just give you some pointers for your business, I'm going to drop the link to that in the chat. But more importantly, I want to answer any questions you have because I know you have questions. So you can unmute. I'm going to go into the chat now. Let me stop sharing. I'm going to go to the chat. Ask me any questions. So I want you to tell me how you're going to implement going forward. Like, what are you taking from this workshop? What question is coming up for you regarding everything I just shared? You can type in the chat or you can unmute. Yes, the Google statistics, yes, and create ecosystem. Yeah, yeah, awesome. Yeah, that like when I found that research, I actually did a newsletter on LinkedIn on that research. The Google 7-11-4 rule, about what it takes for someone to feel comfortable buying high ticket. 7 hours of content on 11 different touch points and 4. I'm just distracted with the chat. Yeah, I'm gonna go see if I can grab that newsletter on LinkedIn so you can, let me go to newsletters. I want to grab the link. So for those of you who want to research further about Google's 7-11-4 rule, I'm gonna put that in the chat as well. Actually, let me share my screen while I'm doing this so you see. So here, this is the article I wrote on Google's 7-11-4 rule, and it goes into detail on the different aspects. 7 hours of engagement with your content. So someone needs to engage with your content for 7 hours, 11 touch points, and 4 platforms. Now, this can happen very quickly. I have had people find me on Eventbrite, which is crazy. Find me on Eventbrite, go on my YouTube, binge my content. This is their words, binge my content, and decide to work with me. So because you've already put out great content and someone decides to invest their time consuming your content. And video is so powerful because video builds trust at the fastest rate, right? When people watch your video, they feel like they know you, they know your process. And like it just, the conversion happens very fast. So I'm going to drop the link to this article. Oh, Sijani said, yes, that was me. Yeah. Even Dr. Leah. Dr. Leah found me on Eventbrite. She downloaded my free lead magnet and she's like, oh, I have to work with this girl. So it can happen really fast. Oh, yeah. Sijani, thank you. Yes. Thank you. I look forward to speaking with you. Thank you, Joy. This was very helpful. You are most welcome. I'm going to stop sharing. If you don't have any questions for me, I'm happy to let you go. You can find me on LinkedIn. If you want to send me a DM to ask me any questions, I'm happy to answer your questions. You can also email me. You're already on my email list. You're most welcome. All righty. Thank you all so much. Have a fantastic evening. You're most welcome. All right. Bye.